Alrighty, people. So I'm not sure how many of you actually want to know this, but I've been getting people on my other videos asking me to talk about the rumor of Kalos being involved as like an after game or after not like the game's over. What do they use? What term do they use? Because I'm drawing a blank right now. But anyway, it's after you beat the game. It's post game features, and people have been asking me to talk about my opinions over it and whether or not I think it's a good idea or do I think it's going to help like draw people to buy these $60 games. And quite frankly, the answer is no. I know that people didn't like the Unova region, that they thought that Kalos was a step up from Unova, but how much of a step up, no one really knows. Did Kalos introduce fairy types? Yes. Did Kalos introduce Mega Evolution? Yes, they did. But what else? Like the starters for Kalos weren't very good. I I was like this with Greninja. I'm sorry. Like I was Protean Greninja, that's a different story, but it's not so much that it's Greninja I liked, so much that it's the ability combined with Greninja's speed. If they had given Protean to like fucking Jolteon, fuck Greninja, I would use Jolteon. And I'm pretty sure some of you feel the same way. But that's not the point. The point is that Kalos, in my opinion, was the beginning of the hand-holdy, trapped in the I've got to follow the computer kind of game where you were forced to do stuff and you had to just you just had to like tag along. You were there for the ride. There was no real like competition in Kalos. You had the introduction of the XP share where it gave it to everyone regardless, so it made it super easy. Yes, you could turn it off, but that's not the point. The point is Kalos dumbed down Pokemon. I feel like Unova was, I guess, so hard that people asked for it to be made easier, and so they made the Kalos region exceptionally easy. And it was just too easy. It was boring easy. And then they gave you two starters. So you got the starter from Kalos, and then you got to choose your starter from Gen 1 when you got to Professor Sycamore. And I'm sorry, like, the Pokemon to choose from in the Kalos region just weren't good. First of all, there were like, what, 90 of them? And then you've got Mega Evolutions, which people counted as like new Pokemon, but they're not new. Did some of their typings change? Yes, but I feel like it was just a gimmick mechanic. I'm not sorry. It's late, y'all. It's 3 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. But the Kalos region and Mega Evolution was just a huge gimmick. And to say that we're going to put the Kalos region as post game material for Gen 8, okay, I don't care. Like that's not gonna make me buy the games. I'm definitely not gonna buy both copies if I buy one at all. I still don't have a Switch, and I don't see myself getting one anytime soon. If I'm gonna be quite honest with you, I love Pokemon. I'm 27, but I feel like I'm growing out of it because the show's getting dumber, the games are getting dumber, there's less in it for me. I love the competition. I love thinking, like the puzzles and all of that stuff. I enjoyed that with Gen 3 going into like the that guy's house where every time you'd go in and there would be like puzzles you have to solve and then once you get to the end he's like, "Oh, you got to the end." Those kinds of things are missing from the new Pokemon games. Those little mini games, those little puzzles, those brain teasers are gone. Getting into the gyms. The gyms used to be like puzzles, brain teasers. I remember Gen 1 trying to navigate through Sabrina's gym was so fucking frustrating as a kid, but I did it. I did it and I got to Sabrina and I lost. I had to go back to I didn't save it. I had to go back to the Pokemon Center, then do that shit over again. I saved it on the second time because I lost again, but I kept going back. The point is that the original games, Gens 1 through 4, and 1 through 5, were a little bit more difficult. They brought something to the games that was a little bit more challenging. Kalos started dumbing it down, and there was a significant drop in the intelligence level of these two different games, these two different generations. I believe that Unova would have been the smarter choice because people say, "Oh, I hate Unova. Unova's boring. The Pokemon designs are terrible." But Unova, in my opinion, has some of the best Pokemon that we've seen in years. So Gen 1, if you look at it for what it is, nostalgia aside, some of those Pokemon, most of those Pokemon are garbage. Like they're terrible. Gen 5, you start walking through like the grass. Lillipup is a fucking monster when it evolves into Herdier. The cat, not so much, but I don't really use the cat. Musharna, Reuniclus, like all of those Pokemon at the beginning. Boldor, if you take it all the way to the top. Swoobat's one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. You it's Zebstrika. You've got so many Pokemon towards the beginning of the Unova region that just grow into these huge fucking monsters. Thinking about Kanto, what Pokemon I can't think of one right off the bat where you can catch it at the beginning and then it evolves and you can like it just run with it besides the starters. Uh Sinnoh was the same way. You would start off and then you ended up encountering Shinx like right then and there. Shinx evolves into Luxio, Luxray eventually at what, like level 30? And from level 30 onwards, you're just fucking shit up with Luxray. Like they had super strong Pokemon at the beginning that you can catch and they weren't rare, they weren't hard to find, and the games to me were just more enjoyable. I don't know. Kalos never really did it for me. I can't get through it again. I tried, I restarted the game and I tried to get through it. And all the different characters, all the different people, all the hand holding, it was just too much. The gyms were too easy. They were super under leveled. I remember like going into a gym and like the gym leader had more than 3 Pokemon. Like who was that? Well, Sabrina was one. You had Koga. That's just Gen 1. Gen 3, you had I think starting Norman. No, Norman had 3 too. So who had more than 3? I think Flannery had 4, but they're all flying types. But that's not the point. The point is the gyms need to be harder. They just need to be harder. And I understand that the kids may get frustrated, but fuck the kids. Like, once the kids have the game, the parents paid for the game. Once the kids have the game, they'll eventually go back and play it. They'll probably ask somebody how to do it, but that's not the point. You make it for the adults, and the kids will play it too. It's like Grand Theft Auto. That's not a kids game, but bet you best believe kids play it. I'm digressing, y'all. To answer the question of the people that kept asking, because I had more than one person ask me on the same video. I'm not sure if they're using like if it's one person using multiple accounts, but to answer your question, no, I don't think Kalos is a good draw to get people to buy these new games because Kalos, in my opinion, was a terrible region. Besides Gudra, Greninja, and Zygarde, what Pokemon native to the Kalos region do people go crazy for? I like Noivern, yeah, but if I'm going to pick a dragon type, I'm not going to pick that one. So I don't know what Pokemon from that region, besides the 3 that I named, is good. Since Gale Wings got nerfed, I'm not going to choose Talonflame. Like, there's nothing that, there's, oh, I know. Frou-Frou or Furfrou, whatever the fuck the thing is called. That's a good Pokemon. It has such a great ability with no fucking moves. Go and look that shit up. Go and look at Furfrou's ability, because it's super fucking awesome, and look at its move pool. And then you wonder to yourself, what the fuck? Like, why? Whatever, y'all. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've got to be up in like 6 hours.